Today, one TikToker is going to explain to us why the individuals who got caught up in the Chase glitch and started taking advantage of a loophole that was spreading online to get free money after writing themselves fake checks and then depositing them at Chase ATMs, those people are actually the victims we should feel bad for, at least according to this TikToker. So let's hear him out and see what he had to say.
All right, maybe this is a hot take, but I actually think that the Chase money glitch is really sad, and people making videos about it, laughing about how so many people just ruined their lives is really weird, because let's think about who is probably affected by this. Is it the people that have financial literacy that came with lots of education and are business majors and finally just thought they could skip the line and get some money? No, it's people who don't have any money or any means of income. They might be English second language, they might be mentally disabled, they might be living in poor areas, they might be in food deserts, they might be like extremely religious due to lack of having support needs met any other way, and so they are thinking this is a miracle. So they just went into what is causing so much of us to be so stressed about student debt equivalent, but it's just debt for needing to have money and thinking that they're getting a break finally for once. So I don't think that we should be mad and laughing at people for being dumb. I think that we should feel bad that this is like entrapment and that 2 million people just got like disenfranchised by a bank's mistake. Keep looking that boot.
Wow. So there's a lot to unpack here, but a couple things. Personally, I don't feel too bad for the people who committed check fraud, who knowingly wrote checks that they knew were fraudulent. Because the whole glitch was that you write yourself a check for a large amount of money, and then or if otherwise a fake check, then you deposit it and get an advance on the deposit before it clears from the ATM. So you knowingly did something dishonest to get money you don't actually have out of a bank, and now we're supposed to feel bad for you. Look, I understand people have different levels of financial literacy, and not everybody has access to, sophisticated investment strategies and financial management, all this stuff, but everyone should have the common sense to know that that is probably illegal and definitely immoral to write checks aren't real, that you don't actually have the money to back up. That's just common sense. You don't need to have education to understand that. And I think tons of people without much education, or who are low socioeconomic status, or who are members of any of the groups he just mentioned, are still perfectly capable and smart enough to realize that you can't do that. And it's actually kind of condescending to say, well, they can't know any better. They're too uneducated. Just because somebody didn't go to college doesn't mean they're a idiot, right? Doesn't mean they have no common sense. In fact, a lot of them have more common sense than people with college degrees these days. So I do push back on this notion. I don't feel a particularly large amount of sympathy for people who committed basic check fraud in the name of a TikTok trend because they just saw influencers doing something and then copied them. Can't say that really pulls at my heartstrings, to be honest with you. Out of all the people in the world who are being sent to jail for things that probably shouldn't even be crimes, if they get in trouble, like, that's not going to keep me up at night. Maybe I'm heartless. Maybe I'm cruel. Maybe I just don't have sympathy, whatever. Yeah, I don't. I don't have that much sympathy for them. I mean, you should know that there's no such thing as free money. If somebody's offering you $30K free money out of thin air with no strings attached, any person should have the common sense to know that that's probably too good to be true, right? That doesn't make sense. And I do have to touch on this truly bizarre notion that Chase engaged in entrapment, or that there was even a glitch at all. No, babe. Chase was offering a benefit to customers that they're basically saying, we trust you guys, you're our customers. If you cash a check or if you deposit a check, we'll give you an advance on it, even though it hasn't cleared yet, because you can be trusted with that. We want you to have your money quicker. Turns out they were dumb. They were naive. They were too trusting of the public, but they weren't entrapping people purposefully. This hasn't been good for Chase Bank. This has been a PR nightmare for them, and they've got to go after people and claw all this money back and deal with law enforcement. This isn't something they wanted to do. They were trying to be helpful to customers and offer them a perk that then got exploited by internet scammers and hoaxsters. So do not say that Chase Bank entrapped people. That is ridiculous, both because anybody with common sense should have known this wasn't allowed, and because Chase was actually trying to do something helpful to their customers and it just backfired. So they weren't entrapping anybody. some people, especially on TikTok, especially left-wing people, really, they seem to only be able to view the world in these very firm shades of black and white. Corporations are bad and working class people are good. So anything that happens, the corporation must be in the wrong. No, babe. The real world is more complicated than that. Corporations do a lot of shady stuff, and I call them out, and I criticize different stuff related to corporations all the time. But just because some people are rich and powerful and other people are less powerful, the intersectional woke worldview was like, well, obviously, because of these power imbalances, this is the marginalized group. No, sometimes the people lower down in the power spectrum are the ones making the bad decision and doing the wrong thing, and that's okay to acknowledge and admit. The real world is complicated. It's not as simple as good guys versus bad guys, working class versus super rich CEOs, greedy, evil people. No. In fact, even low-income people, even people in low socioeconomic classes should have the common sense to know not to write or cash checks they don't actually know, that they know are not real. Like, that's just common sense 101. And corporations are not doing something wrong by clawing money back when people try to rip them off. I'm sorry, they're just not. In fact, they're doing something good and moral and just, because these hoaxsters and scammers for social media clout engaged in something that erodes the trust and the accountability that actually allows our financial system to exist. And they tried to hijack the system, and many of them probably are going to get away with it, but at least some of them are being held accountable, and they are not victims we should feel bad for. No, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. They are people who made dumb choices and are now dealing with the consequences. And I will not be breaking out the violin or any tears for them anytime soon. Do you guys agree, or do you think I'm being a little heartless and you guys do have some sympathy for these people? Let me know in the comments below, and do hit that like button to reward my suffering, because handling this, watching these stupid videos really does take its toll on me, y'all. It really does.